opinions expressed on this show are those of the host, guests, and callers who are responsible for their content and do not reflect the opinions of N-Touch Radio or its staff.
All right, we're live on N-Touch News Radio, reality radio where everybody can be a star. Good morning. My name is Clinton Paris, and I am the host of Straight Up the Middle. Listen, I got a pretty testy email this week about that, saying that our title for the show was misleading, and my response was, well, just because you might be off on the side in a gutter in a ditch doesn't mean that we're not straight up the middle. So I stick to that. We are straight up the middle. You can take anything you hear from me directly to the bank, cash it, and get out of it exactly what you desire. And I hope that is fulfilling to you as it is fulfilling to me to be here having the chance to say it. So welcome and good morning, everybody. It is a happy Saturday morning. Listen, great wrap up to Black History Month. Now we're into March. You know what that means? You know what March is, right, everybody? It is Women's History Month, and it's a great time to learn about some of the great history of African American women and all women around the world. The contributions they've made to our wonderful society should be celebrated, and hopefully you will take a moment to embrace that, attend some events, and just become more. Let's all try to learn more about each other. The idea that we know it all is what kind of leaves us sometimes in the lurch. So take a moment, go out, get to know some folks, learn about some different things that have happened, and you'd be surprised at how enlightening and how to make you feel about tomorrow. Because the more you know about the past, the more you can anticipate and expect what's coming in the future. So being knowledgeable and informed is a true asset to anyone's life. So with that in mind, though, get out, do something special. And one of the things that's happening now, we're getting into political season, so the election season is starting to turn on. It's cranking up. In fact, I'm down in Tampa, Florida. We have coming up elections right here in March, local elections, and I think that's starting all around the country. And of course, on a national level, you've got people starting to get into the national races. Fear setting in with the Republicans. I'll leave them alone though and let y'all figure that out about who is going to be the candidate to come out on the Republican side. We're still waiting on Joe to make his announcement. But listen, he doesn't have to make his announcement anytime soon. He can be President Joe as long as he wants. Because once he announces, he now becomes candidate Joe as president. So right now, everything he does is just really about him serving as a president. So but the elections are heating up locally, nationally, and it's really a time that I think that we should reflect on how this all comes together, because nothing just happens. Things happen because people make them happen. Things happen because people make them happen. And in elections, things happen because people make them happen. Oftentimes we only see the candidate, but there are a lot of other folks involved in campaigns behind the scenes, really impacting how the elections themselves go, and then also how it happens with the candidates. And right now, elections are important because never before has America's confidence in its electoral process been in greater question or under suspicion and scrutiny. I mean, I've marveled over the years at watching third world elections where the people get ink on their finger and they talk about people were killed and the other side won't concede, and it's a coup and all this stuff, and you wonder, wow, how did they get into that? How did that go back and forth so much? Well, we just had a situation where last year, 2 years ago, January 6th, we had people storming the Capitol, protesting the election. And in that regard, we were just like these other countries, as if we didn't know better. And we do know better. And unfortunately, you've got a very few bad actors who have stuck their finger into the system and created some confusion. So I want you all to be thoughtful about that as you think about calling into the show. Let me give you the call-in number, 813-444 9588 813-444-9588. And if it is a call-in show, Pete's out today, but hopefully we'll get some callers that call and we can talk about these subjects with them. But I do want you to be thoughtful about participating in the show if you can, and if you call the lines busy, just hang in there until we get a break, and you can probably jump in at that point in time. 813-444-9588. Now, I start out talking about elections, and we normally talk in the terms of national elections on this show. That is indeed a focus area for us. But we national elections are just a ramped up version of local elections. Because if you didn't have local elections, well, you get it. You don't get to have the national elections. From that perspective, I think we need to be more aware of the local elections and what is happening with local elections to ensure that our national elections are reflective of what we want from our country leadership to look like. So let's be tuned into local elections. I said before, in Tampa, we've kicked off our local elections. So we're going to have city council elections going on in the city of Tampa. And I think wherever you may be, whatever you might be doing, you may find that they're also going to have local elections where you are. And oftentimes people in these local elections start out like you and I. They're involved in something in the community. They're distracted by things that aren't right, and they get involved in something. And they look up in there, they realize, you know what? This being in a political office is not that difficult. It is not that hard beyond if you're already active in the community. Now, if you're some couch potato sitting around complaining about, taxes and you don't know anything about how government works and who does what, maybe running for office wouldn't be a good idea for you. But for those people in your community who've been involved, who are aware of the issues and whatnot, running for office is a good thing. One of the things I think you have to consider, though, is how you're going to finance it. Everything in America comes down to capitalism. And capitalism is tied to one thing: money or access to money. And money is oftentimes a metaphor for power. But if you don't have access to money, you can't buy things like a house or whatnot. You don't have access to money, it's pretty hard to start a business and run it. You don't have money, ergo, it's difficult to run for office. Or if you can't raise money, and rarely we'll have somebody run for office who has so much of the stuff that you use money to buy, it's not necessary for them to raise money. For example, Donald Trump. Donald Trump came into the candidacy for president with a major advantage. He had extremely high name recognition, and an extremely strong following behind him. Now, what was really weird to me is, I didn't get this, is he latched on to a couple of populist ideas, and out of nowhere, he was able to rev up a base that we didn't see coming. Contrast that to when Obama ran for office. Hillary was certain that the big money donors would never support Obama. And so she didn't worry about stopping him when he went to Iowa. And before she knew it, he had gained momentum, and then the money started to flow. Flip over to a couple years ago with Joe Biden running for president. Joe was in the tank, and he was in the tank until Trucker Carl up in Atlanta motivated the people in South Carolina to listen to Congressman Clyburn. And now all of a sudden we have support for Joe Biden picks up. And guess what comes with that? Money. That's what happened. He was able to excite the base, and then once the base got excited, then we got the influx of money came into his campaign. But that's usually hard to do if you can't get far enough. Um, So anyway, with that being said, it's just how it goes. But look, you can listen to me pontificate on this all day long. But what we're going to do is this: we are going to invite to join our conversation none other than Mrs. Robin Lockett. She is running for city council, city of Tampa. But you all may know Robin as a occasional co-host for the show. She has sat in this seat on a number of occasions. And if you're anywhere near Central Tampa, you've heard her running up and down the streets, doing a lot of campaign and community activities with Florida Rising. So this is what we're going to do. If I can get my man DJ Bezel to get his system together, we're going to get Robin situated and get her on. So we're going to do this. We're going to take an early break. And when we come back, we're going to bring Robin into the conversation and kind of have Robin explain how this local election stuff runs and how you really run a winning campaign. All right, hang in there, y'all. We're going to take this break. We'll be right back after this quick message.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecues? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
Hey, Sebring, Lake Placid, Frostproof, Haines City, and Lake Wales. This is Teresha Hardy. Come join me at Progressive Church of God by Faith on March the 4th, 12 to 4 p.m. at our Community Outreach Fair at 1111 South Carolina Avenue, Avon Park, Florida. We have free food, and free food. Some of our community partners are Veterans Affairs, Health Department, Career Source, and many, many more. For more information, call 910-308-3045.
What's that number again?
910-308-3045. Don't meet me there, but beat me there.
In Touch Radio, where you can listen to a cruising flow of smooth soul and jazz. Today's R&B, a fun touch of hip-hop and gospel.
All my music on one station.
Giving you a buffet of music, news, and entertainment. We're In Touch Radio.
Hi, it's Angela Birdsong, and I want to recommend highly that if you're an attorney, that you get a quote for errors and omissions insurance from Sam Cohen at Attorneys First. He's had over 20 years of experience, and he knows how to work with attorneys. Call him at 727-799-4321.
All right, we're back live on In-Text News Radio, reality radio. Everybody can be a star. Look, the magic happening behind the scenes here. DJ Bells are working all 8 of his arms to get the cameras going, the music going. He's working the lights, the keyboard. Man, they're just pulling it all off, though. So, listen, I teased it up before we went to break. I said that we were going to have with us on the show this morning is Robin Lockett. Robin is a candidate for city council in the city of Tampa. District 2, you all may know her as a sometime co-host and guest on our show. Good morning, Robin. How are you?
Good morning. I am doing great. About to go canvassing.
Yes, really, really. So, all right, so what is canvassing, first of all?
Canvassing is knocking on doors and having conversations with people, hopefully if they answer the door.
Oh, so candidates really still go door to door?
I don't know about anybody else, but that's what I do
So
professionally.
like, right now, before you knock on the door, do you know that that's a real voter in that door?
Oh, correct. So I pull information regarding like super voters or most likely voters. We know the demographics, we know the age, we know, we could pull anything we want to match what we need. And yeah, it identifies that person, what party they are, and so forth. How many times they voted. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. So if you just tuned it in, I just indicated that we've had Robin Lockett come in and join us here in studio. And so if you listen to us on the internet, you can also go over to Facebook, In Touch News Facebook page, and also go over to the YouTube page. Check it out there. Check the video out, and you can see kind of how the show is going. One of the things that we've added is some more technology. Now, all right. So the reason I want to talk to you, Robin, is you are you've been in fact active in the community for years and years. As long as I've known you, I think that's how we met.
Yes.
You know, I was at some event, you're at some event. How did you get started being involved in the community?
That's a tough question because I started with the NAACP.
Okay.
I was the political chair of the NAACP. That's how I got my feet wet. And then once I started doing voter registration, started hearing issues and problems, I always saw them, but just never knew how to connect the dots, to be honest. So from the NAACP, it went to Black Caucus, and God just, to be honest, I've been blessed to be able to be innovative to resolve issues.
Right. You've been sprinkling spirituality on us all morning in here. talking to you. You know, God don't talk to me as much, or else I don't listen as well. But I'm glad somebody near me has got a direct line in, because I got a couple requests I want you to send up for me before we finish up. But okay, so you get involved in the community. How do you go from being involved in the community to being a candidate?
Frustration. For the last 2 years, I've always worked from the outside in with relationships. So I've always had built relationships with candidates that then turned into electives, helped put a lot of them in office, worked on their campaign. So built relationships. The last 2 years, we talked about affordable housing, fought about affordable housing, and so forth. Frustration. One of my members just was frustrated as we left a vote, city council saying they're going to vote one way, and then when the rubber hit the road, the needed vote reneged.
Got it. Okay.
And that's what started my thought process in regards to me running.
So it was a direct result of basically losing confidence or
100%.
Somebody in office.
Them not having the will to support people.
Right. And do you think you said it's a will, is it, what do you think most influences elected officials?
Lobbyists and the mayor.
And when
the
you say lobbyists,
administration.
you mean in the lobbyists, they bring money, basically.
Correct.
Is that a real factor at the local level?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. It appeared that it's the last person that they speak with, or it's the last person that, I hear different scenarios, but it is the administration and, everybody else except for the community, because they vote against the community.
So let's talk about some of the steps you need to take to go from I now decide I want to run for office. What's the checklist? What are my things I got to do?
Think about it. Think about it again. Look at the lay of the land in regards to the different seats.
Okay.
Because what I did was I'm in District 7. Which is Louis Vieira's seat.
Okay.
And there was a citywide seat that was going to be open. That's District 2. So the way I thought about it was, I know a lot of people in 7. That's New Tampa, Copeland Park area, USF, and so forth. And over in Town and Country, near Town and Country. But I know way more people throughout the city of Tampa than I do in that one district.
Okay.
So that was my thought process in regards to going citywide, and also I wanted to prove to others, the black community primarily, that we don't have to jump in just one seat.
Okay.
That somebody can win citywide.
Yeah. Now, but my thought has been about going citywide is you go from a single member district, run that out, and show that I can serve, build up a legacy, and then you move up to citywide.
That's how they play games. So
Okay.
right now there's an amendment on the ballot that stops that. That's how Miranda has been in office for 30 years.
He just jumps to different.
They jump from one seat to the other. Yeah. So they have an amendment on the ballot to stop that they have term limits.
Now, my question is that are you in favor of that? You think you're in favor of term limits?
I'm in favor that they can't jump from one seat to the other and serve on a consecutive base, serve one community and then go citywide, so yeah.
Keep going citywide. Now, so now you've prayed on it and prayed on it.
So yeah, I prayed on it. I talked to my family.
Okay.
So
now, why do you talk to your family?
Because I have 2 boys, 2 sons, and I just wanted their input and their blessing.
Okay. I mean, I'm just thinking. I assume are they young men? Are they grown? Or adults?
My kids are grown.
Okay, because I wouldn't want a 16-year-old like saying, "No, you can't run." And,
Oh no.
And then you shut it down.
My kids are 39 and 30.
Oh goodness, you got real grown. Oh goodness.
I'm 58.
Really?
Yeah.
All right then. All right, y'all. We all learned something, right? All right. So, so with that in mind, so we've talked to everybody. So now, what are the pieces to a campaign you think that make it successful? What are the things that you got to have? This.
I think that grassroots. You have to have the ability to get to the people, and along with that thought process, I put fillers out there to different people that I respect and ask their opinion.
Right.
So I did that, but I think grassroots. Creating a grassroots game, knocking on doors and making phone calls, primarily knocking on doors, because a lot of people don't get touched. I have been told so many times that I had to go to South Tampa, and I've gone to South Tampa.
Okay.
Right, because South Tampa is a large voting block.
And they vote. They're heavy voters. They vote a lot.
Correct.
A lot of super voters.
So I was talking with somebody the other day, and I said, well, what I'm seeing is, yes, South Tampa is a large voting block, and they vote. So you do have to go to South Tampa. But so the first time they were identified as a large voting block, what happened to the other people? They forgot about them because everybody rushes to South Tampa, and it's by design for the municipality races to be low key. And if you keep going to South Tampa, not even excluding South Tampa, because they do need to be touched, but that leaves West Tampa, North Tampa, East Tampa, that leaves them out of the fray because nobody's spending resources. How they spend resources in East Tampa is by getting a person they think is popular,
right,
to endorse them.
Okay.
Thinking that's their.
Now, are you mentioned it, but aren't endorsements important though?
I think yes, but I think in a different way.
Okay.
Right? It's because I think yes, but I think in a different way. I think back in the day, they continuously bring that over because people really looked at the leaders and they followed that leader's guide. Right. So that has happened. But I think right now, people, the people that they're asking to endorse them, community may not even have respect for that person.
Right.
But they think that yeah.
So the endorsement has to come from the right people.
100%.
Because I say this, Joe Biden owes his presidency to Jim Clyburn. Because if he doesn't endorse him coming into South Carolina, Joe is dead. Joe is done. That turned the whole election turned when Clyburn went on TV, I think it was a Friday, and said he was endorsing Joe Biden. So if I'm hearing, it's key. Like a lot of times people think, well, I need, my pastor, I need this pastor over here. Well, if that pastor's not respected, or that pastor's not knowledgeable, that pastor's not engaged,
correct,
it may not or I hate to say this word, and I'm not talking about nobody, but what I'm talking about, if the pastor's credibility is burned up, if you've spun the wheel as a pastor so many times.
I mean, but reputation is key.
Yeah.
Respect is key. All those things are key as to whether someone is going to follow them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's very, very important.
So not a team. So who a football team, a quarterback, got a running back, got a wide receiver. What are some of the key pieces you need? I know you need somebody counting the money.
Yeah. So treasurer, campaign manager, volunteer coordinator, and a strategist.
Now I have watched a couple times in the legal system. We've had some candidates get in trouble. Do you have a person who's in charge of the campaign rules? Their job is to make sure the rules are known, or is that a big thing to everybody, or is it just everybody needs to know the rules so nobody breaks any of the rules? How does that work?
I think that goes between like the strategist is very knowledgeable, and the campaign manager, and the treasurer.
And so in the campaign manager, what are you looking for?
Somebody to help me with my everyday needs, that will go out and canvass with me, but they handle the day-to-day operation of the campaign.
And is that somebody you go and look to, somebody who has had success, they've won, or they previously, okay, they're not trying this out, thinking they, like volunteer to, lead the church choir. They have to have some skills and abilities.
Correct. If I need, so where my weaknesses are, and own it, I'm not computer savvy, with spreadsheets and so forth. So if I call the guy that is my campaign manager, is Joyce.
Okay.
If I call him and say, hey, I need for you to create a spreadsheet for XYZ, he does it. Or, we need to really look at the text messages that we're sending out. So hopefully if you're a voter, you're receiving a text message from me. But if the text messages, I need for this to be worded like this, and he creates it, and I just modify it to, so he handles everyday operation.
So now we got the team in place. We've made the announcement. Are there some technical things you have to go and do? Forms you fill out, applications? Say that, or you just go to the local near street corner and say, everybody, I'm a candidate now.
No, yeah, you have to file. So
how does that work?
So you go down to the supervisor of elections office, and they have a team to meet with you. That was amazing. I was surprised about that. So I completed my paperwork.
Okay.
My paperwork at home, and I took my paperwork into the supervisor of elections office, and they had a team where they check everything right then and there. So you leave whole.
Okay.
It's a team of maybe 4 or 5 of them. Even Craig came in, the supervisor of elections. Lattimore came in when I was there. But they check over all your paperwork. I guess 12 eyes are better than just 2. But they check all your paperwork, and then they tell you at that time what are your next steps. You need to, pay this amount. You need to do this. You need, so they check everything. So you leave there with information, or you leave there qualified. So if I had the day that I applied, if I took a check and had everything else, then I would have been qualified as that day.
And after that moment, you can now announce to everybody you're a candidate. Or does somebody else announce you're now a candidate?
Oh, no.
It's all on you.
Yeah.
Do they list your name on their website at the supervisor elections office?
Correct.
Okay.
As qualified. And then, if you're not qualified, they just list your name. But
Got it. Okay. Yeah. All right. So campaign's up and running. So here's where the rubber meets the road. Most of them is now we have to get into the issues. And I think of a couple of things that I look to do when I'm looking at candidates. One are, what are the issues that the candidate is focused on? These are the reasons I'm running,
Right.
whatever. And then I also look at the other candidates to see, well, who's different? If everybody's saying, hey, we're all going to end homelessness, or we're all going to raise, pay for the city workers, or we're all going to fight pollution. I'm trying to find out, well, what are the things that are different, and what of their issues matter to me? So how do you go about, and we only have about a minute here real quick. Matter of fact, let's do this. Hold that thought. Let you think about the issues that you want to attack as a candidate. we're gonna take this mid-show break, and when we come back,
we'll be right
we're
back.
gonna dive into some issues.
Okay.
See what kind of candidate we got here. Listen, everybody, got Robin Lockett here, candidate for City Council District
2. It's
District
a citywide
2
seat.
citywide seat. And we come back, we're gonna get into why Robin is running and what kind of things she plans to do for the city of Tampa when she comes back. This is In Touch News Radio, reality radio. Everybody could be a star. We'll be right back after this message.
By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19. Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at a high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/hereforyou.
Love being number one. When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
In Touch Radio is smooth soul.
Rocking your radio on the sounds of soul.
Playing your favorite R&B. In Touch Radio.
All right, we're back live on In Touch News Radio, reality radio. Everybody could be a star. You're tuned into Straight Up the Middle. Save your emails. This is really what the middle of the road looks like. If you're uncomfortable, that means you're in a ditch somewhere. You need to get back in the middle of the road with the rest of us over here. And listen, y'all, I am just elated because I have in studio with me Robin Lockett. You know her as a community activist in Tampa, doing work for decades in Tampa with NAACP, Florida Rising, and on any issue affecting our community. And, hey, she's gotten off the sidelines, y'all. She is in the race for City Council-wide District 2 here in Tampa. So we've been talking to Robin about the mechanics of going from community activist to getting involved in an actual running for office. So let's talk about the issues that are on the table that you believe need to be addressed at City Council. And what would those, if you were to give me the top three, let's deal with that. Because we could go on with issues all day.
Oh,
give me the top three issues you say, here are the three things that we need to focus on.
So without speaking with the community, per se, to find out citywide, what I was finding when I was down to City Council, because I was attending City Council meetings, right? Affordable housing, water quality, and accountability.
Okay. So, and let's talk about the housing dynamic. Now, $1 million houses are affordable to millionaires. So, how do we draw the line at where affordable is? What's that look like? Is that, and a word that I'm hearing new is like workforce housing.
Oh, yeah, workforce housing, attainable housing.
Right, housing that's connected to the mass working community, what
Doctors,
they can't afford.
Nurses, firefighters.
Right. So how City Council, how on City Council do you impact affordability of housing.
It's against the law, from what I understand from the state,
Right.
because we can't.
You can't fix prices.
Correct.
Right, but you could make money available to help people get in the homes, right?
So right now, in regards to programs, we can create programs because right now there's nothing that's gonna. We can build more affordable housing, and when I talk about affordable housing, it is per se what's affordable to that person.
Would the word be low income housing? I want to be careful.
No,
I don't want
real.
anybody out there saying I'm talking to people who got light wallets. I'm not.
No, but that's real. So when I talk about affordable housing, but the fight that I had for the last 2 years was for people that are lost, that have 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Now they got to get the 4th job. That's not at home with their kids because they're working 2 and 3 jobs. Right. So that was a big part of me talking about affordable housing.
So there are a couple pieces of that. So would that be with affordable housing where, and I assume when we talk about affordable housing, are we talking about home ownership or just having occupancy?
Both.
Well, because in a couple of dynamics in that, you do have the housing authority. If it's a federal operation for improving housing, would you be in favor of something where the city of Tampa runs its own version of a public housing process?
I think right now we have to do things that we would not ordinarily do. We have to think outside the box. We have to look at in different areas what's working for those individuals. Because everybody's are tasked with this issue, right? But people are working through it. So we cannot remain in a box and saying this is how we've done it for the last 50 years, and we need to continue that. So it may be St. Pete is pushing something in regards to the city of St. Pete becoming a landlord.
Right, and so that's one option. Or would another option be increasing the amount of down payment assistance, where when somebody's buying a house for $400,000, the city comes in and the city takes on the first $100,000 of that mortgage, and so you're only paying on 3. Would that be something that you think is a way?
Yeah.
Because that's just something I know with the East Tampa CRA and some of the other programs. You can leverage up, and I think now you can get almost $50,000 in down payment assistance.
But so it's even qualifying for it. But I think everything is on the table.
So somebody says to you, well, candidate Lockett, what are you going to do about affordable housing? So that you're not one of those same people sitting on city council and people like, hey, you've been there 4 years, nothing has happened. Here's what I'm going to do about affordable housing.
So what I would present, because I need 4 other votes.
Oh, now the rubber hits the road.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
But my faith in people.
Right.
Because when people come and they lobby their elective, that's the key.
Got it.
So, but what I would present.
Yeah. Go ahead. So what you're going to present?
Oh, what I would present is everything we just outlined, right? Mm-hmm. There has to be an increase in the programs to help with down payment assistance. There has to be real building up of low income housing, right? I mean, we can identify as anything else. We call it 2-job housing because somebody has 2 jobs,
right?
However it is. There has to be we have to be creative with ADUs, accessory dwelling units,
right?
Land use, zoning. So it's a big puzzle that we could do different things in to make the pieces fit.
Right. So I'm not going to hog Robin to myself. Let me give out the call-in number, 813-444-9588, 813-444-9588 if you'd like to call in. Now, let's go on. So issue 1 you talked about affordable housing. Issue 2 was what again?
Water quality.
Okay, so what's going on with the water? And is that like a red herring, though, to scare people?
No, this is serious. I was sitting in...
All right, tell me what the issue with water quality is.
The city of Tampa was, and I guess it's been going on for years, and I hadn't even heard about it.
Yeah.
They're trying to change toilet water to tap water.
Okay.
That's a problem.
Well, let me stop for a minute. Where does tap water come from now?
I don't know, the aquifer To be honest, yeah.
Well, I think most people be shocked when they find out where it first comes from. But now let's move on to the second issue is.
Oh, where?
That is its process to start with. It's reclaimed water.
Oh, so yeah, it's reclaimed water.
Right, exactly. So now let's talk about, though. So now they want to do basically this new.
So because of some mandate, and it's a mandate from Tallahassee dealing with the water, that they have to have something done with the water by 20. What's this? This is 23, 32 or something.
All right.
Oh, and so now the city is in the process of trying to turn toilet water to tap water.
Again, when you hear that, immediately everybody's going to yell, hell no. All right, let's start with, let's do this. Somebody is calling in, so let's try to check this caller out and see what the caller's got in your mind. Good morning, caller. Where you calling from? What's your name?
Good morning. This is I'm a big fan of Miss Lockett. I just hear a lot of things about her community activism that she does in the work, and she supports a lot of women that's enforcing it. So,
well, good. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that, Carl. So,
I just.
You know,
I think so. She's the best. She's the best candidate for the job.
Got it right. Okay, so clearly we've got one of the members of the Robin Lockett fan club.
Thank you.
we got a stage caller here. Well, good morning, Carl. So we've been talking to Robin about some of the issues. What would you like to see her focus on if she gets in office?
Well, I just hope that she stays focus on some of the good work that she already done before she takes that seat.
Okay, got it. And
continue doing the same thing.
Now, let me ask you: Do you have a question for her?
I'm sure what makes her want to run for city council. What inspired her to do it?
Being fed up with the current administration, to be honest. I felt that some of the members of city council does not have the will of the people.
Okay.
And that's problematic for me. I took hundreds of people down to mobilize them to city council.
Right.
And you would see people crying about things. And whatever's within the power of city council to do, and if the people want it, I think it should be done. Whenever they have an opportunity to put something on the ballot, to have the citizens vote on it, I think they should.
Now, do you have an example of something that they could have done that they didn't do, they didn't have the will to do?
Rent stabilization.
Okay, explain that to me.
So we were fighting, going down, lobbying around rent stabilization. Rent stabilization is just, they would have stabilized, they would have put a freeze on the rise in rent over 5%. Right, so a landlord could not have increased their rent over 5% for a year.
Really?
Yeah. We weren't saying you can't charge anything.
Right.
But just for that, because they had already gotten 100, 200, 300%.
Right.
Right. So if they had, if rent stabilization had gone in, they would have froze it. At least a 5%.
Right.
5%.
Right. So that makes you got that, Carl?
And she does have a good voice for TV.
I'm not sure. I don't know where this call is heading to. But I think for everybody's benefit, we're gonna go ahead and bring this to an end. I appreciate you calling, Carl. Hang in there with us. Hey, let me hear that horn. You're in the truck. Let me hear the horn. Hit it. It's like something in his hand. I don't know if that's a real truck, man. All right, Carl. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Right. So that was, and so they were not willing to take that on.
It was a unanimous vote. I think Bill Carlson was out.
Okay.
So it was 5-0 vote. They even talked about shaking a tree, making a change. We got to, just shake things up.
Right.
Had their attorneys to write up the information, even rushed the date to meet the deadline.
Okay.
And when 2 weeks came by, they said no.
Wow.
the only two people voted for it was Lynn Hertek and Orlando Goose. Everyone else voted no
I'll tell you,
against it.
I've been liking what I've been seeing out of that Lynn Hertek. Yeah,
Lynn,
I mean, she's new to the stage.
Yeah,
but
she looks at things. She was one of the first council members to say, "I want to look at things through a lens of equity."
Yeah, I'm like, we're gonna come back. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get to the third issue that's on the agenda, which is accountability. All right, then. You're listening to In Touch News Radio, reality radio. Everybody could be a star. We'll be right back with City Council candidate Robin Lockett. You're way too energetic for me this morning.
Sebring, Lake Placid, Frostproof, Haines City, and Lake Wales. This is Teresha Hardy. Come join me at Progressive Church of God by Faith on March the 4th, 12 to 4 p.m. at our Community Outreach Fair at 1111 South Carolina Avenue, Avon Park, Florida. We have free food, and free food. Some of our community partners are Veterans Affairs, Health Department, Career Source, and many, many more. For more information, call 910-308-3045.
What's that number again?
910-308-3045. Don't meet me there, but beat me there.
Hi, it's Angela Birdsong, and I want to recommend highly that if you're an attorney, that you get a quote for errors and omissions insurance from Sam Cohen at Attorneys First. He's had over 20 years of experience, and he knows how to work with attorneys. Call him at 727-799-4321.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecues? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
When it comes to reality radio, everyone is a star.
I know that's right.
On your smooth soul and R&B station. On the World Wide Web.
Access granted.
In Touch Radio.
All right, we're back live on In Touch News Radio, reality radio, where everybody could be a star. The reality part is that what you hear is really actually happening, and I know you might be listening on intouchnews.com. You can also go check us out on the In Touch News Facebook page. We are live there as well as on YouTube, and you can see that I'm not sitting here isolation today. I've got Robin Lockett here. Listen, she looks a lot better than Pete Edwards does. I tell you, Sweet Pete's cool and all, but Robin is, she brings a different element. So I want to thank you for coming in this morning. And here's a little video of Rob, her campaign material there. And on the back, it's got three things on there. It talks about affordable housing, and it talks about water quality, and the last one is accountability. So we could, Rob, let's get into accountability. When you say accountability, what do you mean?
I mean that I think City Council needs to be accountable to the people that they serve. I think that City Council also serves as a check and balance to the administration.
Meaning the mayor's office.
The mayor's office. And the community is the City Council's check and balance.
Got it. And so, but in City Council, you need a majority to do anything against the mayor. Correct? You need a majority. Correct. So you need 4 votes.
Correct.
And they can be of any one of the 4 districts.
Any one of the 7 districts. Correct.
Right. So how would you plan to bring accountability to City Council?
for one, identifying where the issue is, right? Not sitting quiet.
Okay.
For two, people have to be involved in that conversation. So the community, it's a must for the community to be involved with it, right? Because if I'm speaking by myself, then I'm a lone soldier by myself. But if community is involved with it,
right,
then that's more of a force, right, to hold them accountable. A lot of things go on in city council or with the city that no one knows about.
Right.
And me sitting there for 2 years, I'm like, darn, something's wrong with this. It is by design that they don't get information out to the community. There's no reason why this is taxpayer money and they don't have a fluid way of reaching the city, the people in the city.
So you're elected. How would you change that mechanism for informing the community? How would you get the message out?
So just different ways. I think that everyone, the older community, right? They're not on the website. They're not.
Right.
So and it's having a conversation, right? There should be some type of study done with different age groups, or we could just automatically send it, mail it, text it, Facebook it, Instagram it.
What about the city having automatic time on billboards? Well, if billboards in the city have like public service, where they have to give back, in a 24-hour period, you've got to give the city 1 minute of time to announce things like the Super Bowl or whatever it may be, city council meeting, or I just made that up sitting here.
No,
I'm just thinking.
So there goes the community having great ideas.
Right.
We have to have that conversation, right? We have to have that conversation. It's taxpayer money, but taxpayers don't know what's going on. My prime reason for this is when the R3 program was created.
Okay, what is R3?
The R3 program was when individuals were being evicted from their house. The county received ERAP money from the government,
right,
from the federal government, and they brought that money down and they created the R3 program to help.
R3 was for rent assistance.
Correct, rental assistance.
You've been evicted, you go there, you apply, and they'll pay your rent for some period of time.
Correct.
Got it.
So with Florida Rising, we pulled the people the names of the individuals that were being evicted.
Okay.
Went to knock on their doors to say, hey, this program is out.
So to let them know you could actually go get some money.
Correct.
Right.
Nobody knew about it.
Right.
That was problematic.
Yeah.
So how do you get that type of information out to serve? Because once people, and even today, a lot of people didn't know about it, right? But how do you get that information out? Because the people that did find out about it.
How do you get that information? I'm being evicted. How do I even know you're being evicted? How do I?
So if so with the R3 program, so if I knew to go to the city of Tampa, to go to the clerk's office to pull everyone's information that was being evicted,
somebody at the city could have done that.
Could have done the same
and then
thing.
Contacted those people.
Correct.
And so that should have fallen under maybe their housing program or someone with the insight, because it does no one any good just to hold on to the money.
Correct.
All right. So we only got a few minutes left, Robin, and this is a tight race. It's neck and neck. We need to know why you are the candidate to be elected. What makes you the right person at this time to fill that seat on city council?
What makes me the right person is I have a proven record, not with votes, but by action. Google me. My record speaks for itself. I am about community, and I know that sitting on city council, there's a need for that. There's a need for a city council to have an organizer on council.
What do you mean by organizer? Someone who knows how to pull the community together?
Mobilize the community.
You're presuming city council wants to mobilize the community.
They should.
But you're presuming, I should lose weight too, but, stop eating so much, it's high cholesterol food, but,
they should.
I'm going to get me some fried chicken when I leave.
So with my example, they're going to have to, because they're not going to want me to have one up on them.
Got it.
My goal is to bring people back to politics. At one time, we were in politics. But what I want to see is for people to really have an understanding of the everyday things that have an effect on their lives, and them make for them to make a sound decision on what's good for them.
You know, it's interesting you say that because democracy is still an experiment. Mm-hmm. You know, in the history of the world, I mean, let me say this. There are very few times you were spiritual. So I'm gonna be spiritual with you, Bezel. Let me show you. There are very few times in the Bible there is democracy. And when you see democracy, it oftentimes goes wrong. For example, Pontius Pilate. He wanted to do something democratic. He asked the people, what do y'all want to do with him? And what did they say? Crucify him. Say, hey, I'm washing my hands of this. Democracy says, do this. So there are a lot of people that don't trust democracy, and that's at the core of their disengagement. The only place you really, really see democracy is in organizational structures. Most homes, we don't work on democracy. You know, we're riding in the car and the kids in the back seat like, hey, what do you guys want to eat? And they're yelling pizza, ice cream, and all this other stuff. I am the person in the front seat. I'm driving the car, and it's my wallet. But y'all are back here having something to say about it.
So what you're saying is possibly true. So we may not call it democracy. I want people to understand what's going on in their life so they can make a sound decision about it. It may not be every day at city council, but at least they have knowledge of it.
And they have a reasonable means of being informed.
Correct.
So have you noticed? So I assume that one of the things, based on working in the community, you've been bothered by the lack of information that people have.
100%.
They just don't know.
100%.
You know, that's funny because that's why I wanted to become a lawyer. You know, we would be on my street growing up and something would happen and everybody would form a circle and keep walking in that circle, but nobody would have a clue about what to do.
100%.
You know, and so I just want to be a lawyer because lawyers seem to know what to do, what to help, where to go. If I elect you, and I'm just speaking, I'm a voter and the voters out there listening, voter elects Robin Lockett. Let's say a year from now, give me a couple of things they can expect that you will have achieved. You will have done these things in your first year. It's almost like the contract with America. When Newt Gingrich, they came in the 90s and they had this contract with America. These were the list of things they were going to do. Would you be able to share a couple of things?
And to be honest, so none of these issues would work if people are not involved. Affordable housing wouldn't work. Water quality, accountability. None of these will work if the community is not involved. So my first 90 days or 120 days would be for me to do a listening tour throughout the city.
Okay.
Right? Because I represent the city now. Find out what those issues are. And then figure out a way to bring the community into the conversation.
Uh-huh.
So I talked about accountability, right? Accountability, city council being accountable to the administration, community being accountable to city council. There's a caveat in there. The community has to be accountable to me. Right. When I call, they come.
Right.
So I really want to put that on the table with community engagement.
Outstanding. All right, Bezel, we got this caller on the line. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Harold Lathan. I'm calling from Jackson, Mississippi. How's everyone doing this morning?
We're doing fine. Harold, I got about 1 minute. What you got on your mind?
One of the things I want to do is, first of all, is congratulate this young lady for having the courage to run for public office in the age of politics. And not sitting back and talking about those who are not doing anything. One of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. That was a quote from Plato.
Okay.
And sitting back talking about it didn't get the job done. And if you don't run for office yourself, your choices are you end up taking a risk of being governed by your inferiors. So I think that there's always room for growth and change and development. And so I'll just close it out right there and just say, guys, it's a great show. My first time calling in and listening in. And please keep up the good work and good luck to you.
Thank you very much. Hey, listen, we're going to start having to get a bell or a horn or a hand clap or something. Our first time call. Harold up there listening to us. We appreciate it very much, all the support we can get. Robin, I got a couple of minutes. If somebody wanted to support your campaign, here, let me put this up again. How would they go about doing it?
VoteRobinLockett.com.
Okay.
Vote Robin Lockett. Lockett is spelled LOCKETT.com. And just in reference to what he just said, you're so right? Because part of my conversation with my kids, or my sons, they're not kids anymore.
I was going to say, you said like 40, right?
My younger son told me, Ma, you got to be the change that you want to see. Wow. You've done the work. And that's a lot, right? That means a lot. And when he said that, I was like, boy, you kind of smart, But I have to be, that's another reason why, because I have to be the change that I want to see. I've worked from the outside in. Now, how do I work from the inside out? And I don't think resources, I don't think access should be a secret. And it's a secret to us. Right. Because other people use it.
Outstanding. Listen, y'all, we have had the joy of having with us this morning Robin Lockett, candidate for City Council, District 2, live in studio. Go look her up on YouTube, Facebook, and, of course, support her campaign. Yes. I want to thank you all for joining in. Harold, appreciate you, my man. We're gonna get you a bell or something for you first-time callers that call in. Carl, keep that truck down the middle of the road. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, be a difference. This is In Touch News Radio, reality radio, where everybody can be a star. See you back here next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Outstanding. Good job.
Hard to see, girl, but please hear it from me, girl, and believe me, you're a queen, girl. I know sometimes it hurts.